Hello and welcome to Lumpia and Latkes. I'm Jay, a Filipino American.
And I'm Mitch, an American Jew. We are friends and coworkers who riff all day at work and decided to create this podcast for extended conversations on anything that intrigues us.
We won't always get it right, but we'll do what we can. Thanks for joining us. This episode, topic of the week is airports and airplanes, part 2. Part
two.
Part deux.
Duh.
Part deux. Alright, so we had a little conversation at some point. Babies on airplanes. I've said my piece. My piece is that I think there should be a guaranteed flights of babies not on airplanes, which again, I'm not anti-baby. I get it. Babies have to travel. You shouldn't restrict their travel.
Hater.
No. I just think that, if someone's willing to pay more to have a flight that has no babies guaranteed so they can avoid the issues of babies and children, I mean, that's up to them. But anyway, you have a rebuttal. Let's go.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, and here's why. So I had spoken with my father about this. He has been a traveler since the 80s. He was on a lecture circuit. There were I don't know how many flights the man's been on, but he's been flying for probably 40 years. Okay, multiple times a year. I mean, multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I asked him specifically about this the other day, and he says flat out, he says, "I have never had a crazy situation like you had explained." Because to get a little more in depth of what you were saying, mm-hmm. TikTok video shows unruly kids on planes that are not being. That the parents aren't doing, being taking care of their kids and blah, blah, blah. And he said, of all the flights my father went on and all the times that he's been on planes, he's never had any really bad situation. Mm-hmm. He did one time. He specifically recalled one time he was coming from Chicago to, I don't remember where in Arizona. I think it was Phoenix. And it was a long, 3-4 hour flight, something like that. And he got the middle seat. There was a gentleman to his right and a woman with an infant in her arms to his left. Mm-hmm. And that infant screamed her head off the entire flight, with the exception of the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes, the baby finally fell asleep, probably from sheer exhaustion. Mm-hmm. But he said, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do.
True. There is nothing you can do. I mean, these babies they're babies. They don't have a way to control their themselves. But at the same time, if there's a option for people, guaranteed of no babies.
There are options.
I mean,
there are still options. If you're on a plane with kids and they're making noises being on, and stuff like that, you have headphones. Put them on. That's why we invented noise canceling headphones and stuff like that, Jay. You can just put that bad boy on there and
but those only work so well. Those only work so well, especially if the child is right next to you.
I get it. If the child's right next to you, it is what it is. But you know what? There's no point to paying for that premium stuff. It goes into the same realm of, in my mind, it kind of goes in the same realm of this. You would also have said it yourself that you're a larger fellow, and you have been on a plane before where you sat next to a guy that was pretty much the same size that you were.
Yep, right.
And your bellies touched.
Yep, stomachs are touching. Yep.
Stomachs are touching. How uncomfortable was that?
Very.
Okay. So what about this scenario? You got a guy that's perfectly skinny, and then you got a guy that is pleasantly plump. Mm-hmm. Well, the pleasantly plump guy, his body weight overflows into the other guy's seat.
Yeah.
This guy paid for this seat, Jay.
Right, and I think that's awful. I think no one should have to go through discomfort on a flight that's already discomfort.
So what is he going to do? Turn to the other guy and say, "Hey, I paid $900 for this plane ticket. You owe me $3.
I mean,
you're in a third of my space. You owe me $3.
There should be some sort of
larger seat.
There should be some sort of compensation for that guy who had to go to.
The airline? It's not the airline's fault that the person is heavy set. How's he going to get compensated, Jay?
That's true, but the airline, there's got to be some method of. I'm just saying, it still doesn't make sense. Just because there's no way for that guy to get. Just because there's no way to right now for that guy who is the skinny guy to get compensated for his discomfort doesn't mean he shouldn't get compensated.
But how's he going to get compensation? Because the compensation is coming.
I don't know. I don't have a fix for that. But I do know. But I'm saying there is a fix for the baby situation. You have flights that are not that have no babies.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of fight. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have. You're going to
it's never
have.
going to happen. It's never going to
Right.
happen because it hasn't happened already.
Of
If it
course.
did happen already, it's been canned. So
Right.
it's never going to happen. I mean, and even then,
Right.
people are going to scream discrimination. They're going to scream discrimination, just like the same thing. Because
I think they only you can only really scream discrimination if they weren't paying a premium. I'm not saying give them this extra thing for free. They have to pay a premium.
It doesn't matter about premium or nothing, sir. Premium or nothing. It doesn't matter. You're going to discriminate this lady and not let her go on a flight, on this certain flight. That's discrimination simply because she has a child with her.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Same thing goes for these, for people that are a little bit larger. Let's just say, for example, I'm sure the airlines have tried to come up with a resolution for this and never came up with a resolution. Well, let's just say, for example, you come up with a way. Oh my goodness, guess what? The airline companies say, hey, you know what? We're going to offer these larger size seats for these larger people. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is scan your ID. Because let's face it, your driver's license has your height and your weight on there.
Yeah, it does.
Scan your ID, and you can go ahead and get yourself a larger seat that way. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, what if somebody fakes their ID somehow into the system, and next thing you know, there's a woman that's 4'9", 85 pounds sitting in that larger seat. Hey, I paid for the seat. I got the seat. I don't know what the problem is, folks. That's that.
No, if you pay for the seat and you're not that weight, there should be a terms and conditions within the policies that says no.
Once again, people will
you're breaking the policies that are set in place.
People will be swearing discrimination all day long about that whole setup and that whole system if they were to do something like that, Jay. They would. It would, and that's why it's never happened. Because it's not something that can be easily remedied.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. Okay. So, and that's why they just have it the way that they do. And, unfortunately, you're going to have those uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And now, and of course, most of the times people are not going to do things like that. They're not going to say, hey, bud, your largeness is invading on my space.
Right.
I paid $500 for this ticket. I expect to be compensated $200. The guy's going to look at him and say, fuck you, pal.
Yeah. I'm just saying, sorry. Like, we can argue back and forth all we want, but at the same time, there are people out there who are in the same mindset of, like, there should be flights. I mean, that's not going to change, is what it is.
Probably not. Probably not. But I mean, again, the majority of the time that I've been on planes, and I've been on several planes over the years, not as much as my father has, but, in comparison, my father has said, there's not been, most of the time, kids are kept in control by their parents. I don't mean to use it that way. I'm saying it very quickly as far as that goes. I don't mean like in control, but parents are taking care of their kids when they're on the plane. Okay. Sure. And keeping them occupied or, giving them whatever the case may be, I mean, not saying
I'll say there are plenty of cases where they are not, because you have babies raising babies, people who are too young, having children. I mean, that's a whole discussion in and of itself. But, it's a thing.
And if there is unruly parents that are not wanting to reel in their child, if you will.
Unfortunately, not every parent is set out to be a parent, straight up.
Right, exactly. So then, you know what? That is up to the flight attendants to take control of that situation to the best of their ability while it's in flight. And that's where I'm going to leave that one. Okay, because I think that's the best way of doing it as far as that's concerned. I don't think it's anybody's responsibility that is on the plane to reel in an unruly child other than the parent of said child, unless of course that child is there, whatever that system is where the kids just are flying solo and they've got like stewards to watch them over them, stuff like that. In those cases, if that child becomes unruly, then clearly they're under the parental supervision of said flight attendant. But another scenario that had come up with the conversation is, what if per se you get on the plane and someone is in your seat?
Ooh, yeah.
People are not moving. Okay. Excuse me, you're in my seat. No, I'm in my seat. Okay, well, ma'am. Okay, well, let's get this resolved. Excuse me, flight attendant. Here's my ticket. Here's my flight. Here's my seat number. Blah blah blah. And then the lady's going to come over, or gentleman's going to come over. Sure, ma'am, you need to go ahead and move. And if they don't move, then what?
Right.
Because it's happening.
if they don't move, then I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Right.
one.
See, my mind goes to the next level, which is okay, this person doesn't want to get out of their seat. Go to the pilot because he's the one, it's his plane. Go to the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, sir, you need to get out of this person's seat.
Right.
If you don't, you will not be flying this plane and we will have you forcibly removed.
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, that's what it's going to have to come to in my mind. In my mind.
Yeah,
Now,
and
whether
that's
or not
happened
it
before.
actually
Yeah, I've seen those kind of videos too, where they had people forcibly ejected from a plane. Yes,
correct for doing weird stuff or whatever it was. I
that's
mean, there was that
correct.
one lady back in the day, a year or two ago, that thought somebody was like a ghost on the plane or something like that. You don't remember that on YouTube?
Oh yeah. I'm telling you right now, that
Yep.
motherfucker back there is not real.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Yep.
that
He
lady.
was not
Yep,
real. Yep.
that's
Yep.
right.
That was crazy. But hey, it's what she saw. It's what her perception was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
perception is reality. I get it. She was a little loopy in my opinion, but hey,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, you've got those situations like that, Jay, that, hey, it's like, what do you do in those scenarios? I think that's the right resolution. One of the other ones that comes to mind as well is, and I experienced this myself. When I went to California, I had booked some seats, and unfortunately, one of the legs that we were doing, I think it was from like Dallas Fort Worth to, I think it was Orange, California, whatever it was. Anyways,
Mm.
the last leg into California, whatever. I was sitting on an aisle seat, and my wife and daughter were on the opposite side in a window and middle seat. And then my son and mother-in-law were in front of them at a window and middle seat. Well, the wife was like, I want you to sit next to me. I don't want to sit next to a stranger. And I said, well, babe, it's either I sit next to our daughter or you sit next to your daughter. One of the two. I said,
Mm.
that seat next to you was already taken. I couldn't change it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I will ask the person when they come if they'll switch seats with me because I have a aisle seat. Switching an aisle for an aisle, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about switching for a middle seat. Hey, can I take your aisle seat and you can take my middle seat?
Oh no, never.
Oh no. That
Never
brings
happened.
this whole into the conversation of
right.
middle seat versus aisle seat versus window seat.
All right. Obviously, the best seat is always the aisle because you got that.
I think
That
so.
gives
I
you
think so.
the leg room. Some people like looking out
Absolutely.
the window, and there's value in that. But center is always the worst. But I still think center gets the armrest.
I would agree with you, but does that mean they get both armrests or just one
No, they
armrest?
get one. I don't know which
So,
one, but they get at least
right.
one.
See, now you're now you're going to be talking kind of crazy to me because
Mm.
I think they should get both.
Oh, both.
I think they should
Okay.
get both. Yes, because you already get the amenity of the window. You can have something to lean up against and
That's
kind of
true.
nestle on and things
That's
like
true.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
Maybe they
kind
should
of,
get
but you
both.
also,
Yeah.
yep. But then you also have the aisle guy who claims that they have more leg room, if you will. Which, to be fair,
Mm.
you don't.
No,
You
because
really
people always
don't.
walking up and down that aisle, and you can't really
That's
take
right.
your legs out.
You
Yeah.
got to
No.
move your leg, especially when you've got the flight attendants coming down with that big old cart.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, my knee has been hit by that cart at least twice in my life, and let me tell you, if I hear him coming, I am moving it. If I don't hear him coming, guess what? Owie time for Mitch.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, do the middle seat guys ever get both armrests? Never,
I bet they don't know.
never.
Yeah.
Now, I was on the flight back from Atlanta, the last flight that I did. I kindly gave the guy, I had a window seat, so I kindly gave the guy that other arm. I just took my arm, brought my arm closer to my body and just kind of leaned over towards the window and wrapped up. I took my jacket and wrapped it up into a ball, if you will, and used that as a headrest. Here we go. We're good, and just let it ride. And that's fine. That's okay with me.
Sure.
It's fine.
Sure. I mean, I'm like, you ever have like you ever do small talk with people who are sitting next to you if you don't know them? I've done
I
that a couple
did
times.
actually. I
Yeah.
did do small talk with somebody, and if I can remember his daggone website, then I would give him a shout out. But I actually met a guy that runs a website that promotes Israeli articles. He basically takes all the news that's coming out of Israel and has a translator on it. I think it's allisrael.com or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm not going to try to give him a plug-in. If I can remember what it was for the next one, I'd certainly give him a plug-in. But he lived in the States, and he and somebody else started this little business, and it's been taking off very well. And he was meeting some people to expand the business here in the States, and was flying into Virginia to visit his parents. So, but he lives in Israel with a beautiful wife and two kids. And I believe his name was Yosef.
Oh, okay.
I believe his name was Yosef, if I'm not mistaken. We had a great conversation for the last leg of the flight. Yep.
Yeah.
And I came home with the flu.
Oh, yeah. See, I've had conversations with people, and then we start off talking before the flight goes. But as soon as they hand out the little earbuds for the seat backs, like on the Delta flights, it's
Right,
done.
right.
Like you're watching
Yeah,
your movie, it's
conversation's
over.
over. Yep,
Conversation's over. If
yep.
you still try to talk to me at that point, it's like you see I'm watching something, right?
Yeah,
Stop
that's
talking to me.
true. I initiated the conversation because I was watching him use his laptop, and I
Mm,
saw that he was reading something, and I said, "Hey," I said, please forgive me." I said, "But that's Hebrew, right?" And he said,
mm.
"Yes." And I said, "I haven't read Hebrew since my bar mitzvah." I says, okay." And then so we started a conversation. That's
Okay.
all. That's really what it was.
No,
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
yeah,
I this brings up a weird issue too. Like I remember,
yes.
what the Nintendo Switch when they had like their little advertisements. You know, back when it was new. I think one
Mm-hmm.
of the things they promoted was like, oh yeah, you can take it on the plane and then play a Switch game with someone who's sitting in the seat next to you. I'm like,
Someone in the seat. Yes, you
I'm
can.
not doing
You
that.
can. You
Well, I'm gonna
so
play
can
with
do
some
it.
random ass person on thing
Why
like
not?
I don't know. I don't. I'm not sure about that.
Oh,
Like
come
I'm just
on.
gonna offer up my Joy-Con to that person. Like I don't know if their hands are
Sure,
clean.
absolutely.
I don't know if their
Come
hands are clean.
on.
They better
That's
sanitize
what
their hands before they
sanitizer's
touch my
for,
stuff.
Jay. Come on.
Yeah,
Say, hey, I'll let you use my Joy-Con if
you
you
can't even
douse
bring
your
on the
hands with hand
sanitizer unless it's
sanitizer.
like 0.2 ounces or some shit. I don't know.
I've got a little jar that I carry with me all the time. Actually, it's on the outside of my book bag,
Mm,
and that's the same book bag that I use for my flights. And it's a nice little jar right there. It's a little ounce thing, and I refill it whenever I go on a flight.
okay, okay.
Look, a little dab will do you, man. A little
A
dab
little
will do
dab
you.
will do you.
All it takes is a little dab, and then you just rub it on your
As
hands,
long
and there you go.
as long as it's what is it, 70% alcohol? I think it's the magic number according to the who is it? The health and safety
Uh,
people. I don't know.
Food and Drug Administration.
Something like that.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
FDA.
don't know.
Some governing body says it's 70%.
Okay, that's fair.
Um,
That's totally
yeah.
fair.
Because that's the other thing too. This is off topic also, but I went to the Dollar Tree and they have Germex, right? And you're like, oh,
Right,
Germex, that's the stuff everybody's used for years. It's a known brand. I look at the back of the bottle, 62%
right.
alcohol. I'm like, this is
Nope,
nothing. This is mostly
nope.
water. What the hell is this? It's not getting your hands clean. It's crappy. The actual Dollar Tree brand is like 70%. I'm like, well, what
Yep,
the hell?
yep. I know. I know. It's so weird.
Insane. And then also, as far as choosing seats, the emergency exit row, right? So people sit there and like they make the whole claim like, yeah, I'm definitely going to help during the emergency evacuation, and yeah, of course they will. They have to. I mean, why wouldn't you? But like during in and of that moment when they ask you, you're not thinking that for sure. You're not really thinking like, oh, something's going to happen on this plane. No one should be, but at the same time,
I've
someone who's in that
had that
exit row,
mistake.
yeah,
I've had that mistake.
yeah,
I've been there. I've made that mistake.
mm,
And the very first time that I sat in that row, and the
mm-hmm.
lady says to me that you would be safe taking care of this, I looked at her and said, "No,
Oh.
no, I will not."
Okay. You don't think you didn't think at the time you were able to do it?
The first time I was, oh gosh, I believe it was my first time. It was probably Eckerd Drugs turn right around 2000, maybe less than that. I
Hmm.
went to a management school called Top Gun. So I was
Top
probably
Gun.
21, 22 years old at the time.
Hmm.
And no, no, if the plane goes down, I'm flipping out, man.
Hmm.
I'm
So
not going to be able to get these
what they
people out.
do? Did they move you?
They switched me with somebody else that was willing to do it.
Oh, okay.
That was all.
You don't pay an extra for the exit row seat, do you? I don't remember.
No, not that I know of. No,
Okay.
no, I really
Okay.
don't. But nowadays, you can see where you can pick your flights. Back then,
Yes.
there was no smartphones.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sure.
So
Sure.
whatever plane, whatever row I got picked is whatever row I got picked. But yeah, I chickened out. I did. I truly did.
Hmm.
Um, and rightly so because the plane crashed. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God. Jeez.
No, no,
Oh.
I kid. No, that was not funny. But no, I mean, I was genuinely like, no, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't do that. Now, yes, I can. I don't have
Yeah.
a
Now,
problem with
sure.
that. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem if that's what you want. That's
Hmm.
perfectly fine. I'm going to sit there because the younger me didn't logically think
Hmm.
about this and say, hey, buddy. You're going to make it there. Everything's going to be fine. I was thinking worst case scenario. Holy crap! No, this plane's not going to make it. Okay, no, I don't want to sit here at all. I want to
Right.
sit on another
It's
plane because
every
I
man,
want the
woman, and
plane that's
child
going to
for
make it.
himself. Yeah. I'm not.
Exactly. No. So yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm going, fine. Nowadays, no problem. Because again, God forbid something like that happens. But let's be fair. I've also played that other card, that other side of that card, Jay, and I'm like, yeah, if something does flip out, how many of those people in that row would actually provide that assistance?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I think someone would stand up and do it because you're also trying to save your own life, right? I mean, everybody's self-preservation is the number one thing for
sure,
most people. So you're going
sure,
to do what you're going to do, and you're probably going to save yourself, and then at the same time save other people, intentionally or
right.
unintentionally. You're going to do it because in the heat of the moment, you're going to act.
Having been a child then, again, because I was a child then, whenever I said no, and being a father now, I am.
Yeah.
My perspective has completely changed. I don't have a problem with. I guess best lack of better word is self-sacrifice. I don't have a problem saying, you know what, I'm going to help these people get out of here,
right,
and try to help them the best of my ability, so that way everybody can try to make it out safe. And hopefully nothing like that ever happens to me or anybody. I don't wish that upon anybody, but if should something like that happen to me, I would like to say that I could do something like that. And nowadays, yes, I could try my best to do something like that. Would it be scared out of my mind? Abso-freaking-lutely. But can I stay calm under pressure? I think I can, because there's been pressure situations in my life that I've stayed perfectly calm with. I had a doctor tell me one time, Mitch, you called me when your wife was having trouble, and you were just as calm could be. You were very clear and concise with the information you gave me, and I just had to steer you in the right direction. He's like, so thank you so much. You have no idea how many times new fathers would call and be flipping out over the phone. He says, you were just as calm as could be. I was like, well.
Yeah, I can attest to your calmness as well. We work with a lot of assholes. No, it's not true. no, they're great. They're all great. They're fine.
Most of them are. Most of them are great.
No, most are great. They're fine. They're all fine.
Most are great.
Everybody's doing the best they can, man. Everybody's doing the best they can.
Doing the best they can with what we got, brother.
Yeah, everybody's trying to live one day at a time. And again, for the whole thing of helping other people on the airplane, always remember to put your own mask on first before you put someone else's on.
That's right.
Yeah, don't worry about them; they'll fend for themselves.
That's right.
No, that's not right. That's
not right.
No, let's get it out there. That's not correct. Help if there's a child that needs help the child first, and then put it on your.
I know. I'm just
your own face. Come on.
I'm just messing with you. Oh, wait a minute. You're supposed to put it on first and then theirs?
Put theirs on first and then yours. Isn't that right?
I thought it was put on yours on first and then theirs.
Is it?
You know what? I have no idea
now I'm
anymore.
Confused. I thought it was the other way. I don't know now.
You have confused this entire situation.
Hold on. Let's do a
I'll
quick
tell you, man. I don't know which way is up anymore, sir.
What is it called?
The mask? Making it all crazy.
Put mask on
airplanes.
First.
Proper procedures for mask on airplanes.
Yeah, put your own oxygen mask on first before you help. Yeah, that's right. So it is right. Okay. Never mind.
I was right.
It's all good. All right, I thought I was making a joke. I'm not. All right,
no.
All right, that is what it is.
Well, you're the butt of the joke now, Jay. Congratulations.
Swing and a miss is what it is. Hey, swing.
Swing, miss. He get it. Swing.
There's no crying in baseball. There's your joke.
So,
all right.
That's right. So emergency exit row, yes, we got that covered.
Right.
What's this whole thing about the proximity of the bathroom for you, sir?
Proximity of the bathroom, man.
What is wrong with the evacuation of bodily fluids in you?
I think it's fine. I just don't want to smell it or hear it. That's all.
Okay.
The bathrooms aren't necessarily soundproofed, right? So you can hear someone going. I mean, depending on how close you are, if you're right in front of it, I'm sure you can hear it. And I don't want to hear that. I mean,
Jay, I have been on many an airplane. I have seen many a person go to a bathroom and come back from the bathroom. As a matter of fact, I think we were right in front of the bathroom whenever we were on the plane going to California. We were right in front of the bathroom, and we never heard a single thing because it's already loud on an airplane to begin with.
It is loud on an airplane, yeah. Did you smell anything, though? That's the other thing.
I didn't smell a thing.
Well, you haven't had someone who is extremely flatulent. Because someone has extreme flatulence.
Look, if somebody's going to pass gas on a plane, they're going to pass gas on a plane. And guess what? Everybody's going to smell it. And, it's going to be
worse for the person who's closest to it. Person who's closest to it. It's going to be worse.
Whoever smelt it, dealt it.
Yeah.
And then whoever spied it denied it.
I never heard of that one. Spied it
Oh, you
denied
never
it.
heard that
I've
one?
heard the smelt it
Yeah.
dealt it. Never actually heard that. Is
Whoever
that
spied it
whole
denied it.
that a complete phrase? I never heard of that.
Whoever smelt it dealt it. Whoever
Yeah.
spied it denied it.
Huh. That's
Yep.
good to know. I learned something today. How about
that? That's right. Yeah. All right, we can quit now. We're good. All right, thanks everybody. No.
Yeah, that's it. That's because learning is the whole point of this show. We're trying to teach
more
people.
You know.
Yeah.
Bong, 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 bong. I did that so badly. Oh, jeez.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
Oh,
all
man.
Right. So proximity to the bathroom, I'll be honest, Jay. I've never had an issue with proximity to the bathroom.
Okay.
I can barely hear anything that's going on now. If you want to talk about proximity to the bathroom, what about those Greyhound buses? Yeah, I'd rather be in the front than the back.
Yeah. Yeah, the Greyhound buses, like I've only ridden on them like only so many times, but
right.
I drive everywhere. I mean, and I take more flights. I think buses are cool for what they are, but on long distances, like, yeah, I mean, unless they're making a whole bunch of stops at like these truck stops or whatever, they let you because they have to because even though they might have a bathroom on the not plane on the bus, they still have to let you off because everybody eventually has to go to the bathroom. So.
That's right.
Including the bus driver. Yeah, bus driver.
That's right.
Stop. That's mainly what it's for because he has to go to the bathroom.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, no, actually, sitting close to the bathroom on a bus is no go.
Right. No major go. I mean, I get that, but I get it. But on the airplane, I've never had an issue with it on the airplane. I'll be totally fair. Never had any discrepancies or issues with that especially with the noise factor. You barely hear anything, anyways. Half the time, the wife's talking to me, and I'm just all of a sudden I turn and look at her. She's sitting right next to me. She said, "Did you hear what I said?" And I take out my earbuds. I said, "No, I didn't hear what you said."
Okay. That's love for you right there. You didn't hear
that's
what
she said. Love. See, I suffer from three things, Jay. I suffer from ADHD, which you know what that is, attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Yes.
I suffer from CRS, can't remember shit.
Oh.
Can't remember shit. And I suffer from FSH, Foxtrot Sierra Hotel, which is female selective hearing. It happened around the time I said, I do.
Oh, no.
I use that joke all.
Love hearing that.
I've been using that joke for 25 years, and it still doesn't get old.
It's a good one to know. I mean, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Yep. Oh, yeah, okay.
So let's also get into. All right, we already talked about a little bit, but the on-flight amenities, right?
Yes.
I love the free movies. I will always watch a movie
Absolutely.
when I'm on. I think I saw Renfield with Nicolas Cage on the back of one of those
that was
things.
An interesting movie on there.
That's a weird one. I saw a famous South Korean movie, Train to Busan, with the Train to Busan is about people who are on almost like an Amtrak. I think it's called the KTX or whatever. But they're on their way. They have their own little stories, and someone gets on the plane who is infected with the zombie virus, and they bite one person, and they're all stuck on this train. Trying to survive and get to their destination. It's pretty crazy. It's a real good movie. It's kind of old at this point, but man, lots of action, fun stuff.
Sure.
And watching that on an encased closed space that I can't get out of, that was great. I think the only thing that would be better is snakes on a plane. Watching them on the plane.
Oh,
yeah, great.
Awesome. Nothing worse than motherfucking snakes on a motherfucking plane.
I'm tired of these Monday to Friday snakes on this. No, what is it? What do you say? Monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
That's right.
That is the edit that they had for the TV version. I'm like, that's the weirdest thing.
It's so weird. But yeah, I've seen plenty of stuff on there, and the games on there are pretty good too. I played the poker game. I played solitaire, and it's all fun. I mean, my daughter enjoyed that as well whenever she did get it. But unfortunately, not every airline has that amenity.
No.
I know American doesn't. As far as I recall, American does not. At least on the planes that I was on, it didn't have it.
Even on the Delta flights, not all of them have it because they're older planes that don't have those tablets.
Yep, you got it. So it's really disappointing to see in some ways as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
But with the newer planes, hopefully they're going to continue to use the kind of little infotainment systems, if you will, to kind of keep people occupied and stuff. But I definitely see it as a perk. Although with American, you can get onto their app, and from their app, you then can select movies using your phone or tablet or your laptop. So they have their own little way of doing it. It's
so
just that you have to use your amenities.
You have to use your thing, but is there like a free, like, how does that work?
Free Wi-Fi.
I've never,
Free Wi-Fi
okay.
on the
So do
plane.
you have free Wi-Fi on the plane? I think you had to
Yeah.
pay for that on Delta.
No, you don't have to pay for it on Delta. You can do it on you can get it for free as well, but there is like they pay for some extra amenities like a faster internet service, if you will. But they're very limited as far as what some of the things that you can and can't do on the plane as far as that service is concerned. So yeah, so it's not too bad.
All right. Last thing I got on this whole topic is the rental cars at the airport. I don't usually use Hertz, but when I use Hertz over at the Atlanta International Airport, that was quite an easy experience. I just jump on that little tram, get over there to the car rental center. Tell them I have a reservation. They said, okay, go present this paper to this guy that's at the parking lot. And then he said, he looks at the paper. It's like, okay, you can choose any of the sedans over here. And then you just go in, get your key. And the only thing is, when I went to get my key, the one I wanted, the key was in the car next to me. I'm like, okay.
Weird.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. I'm like, did somebody switch these around? I was like, because I wanted that one. The one I wanted was a Toyota. I'm like, I like Toyota. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and that's another sponsor. No, it's not a sponsor. We don't have any sponsors. Need to stop doing that.
That's right. You want it, you got it. Toyota.
Yeah, I love it. Toyota. Happy Toyotathon, everybody. That's
yes, that's right. So like when I did Florida, we were going to take the family to Disney. I rented a Chevy Silverado, Chevy Suburban from Hertz as well, using some of the discounts we get through our work.
Yes.
And it's so convenient. As soon as you walk over to the rental spot there, you walk into this one room, they say, what's your name? I give him my name. He said, you got your confirmation number? I flash him the confirmation number. Here's the key. Boom. Go right to the spot, load up the car, and get ready to drive on out. Of course, I'm very thorough when it comes to the vehicle. Always take a video of the outer portion of the vehicle.
Absolutely.
As soon as possible before you leave that area to check out, because there's usually like a barrier that you need to pass, and you got to check out with somebody there or whatever, and they try to upsell you for Easy Pass or whatever the case may be, for ticketing systems and whatnot. But always take a video around that entire vehicle.
Always.
And then when you go and drop it off, take another video all around that vehicle for insurance purposes, because there have been scams out there. There have been scams. They've called me up, not called me up, but I've read stories. They call you up and they say, "Oh, you owe us $4,000. What are you talking about? I turned in the car weeks ago. It's perfect. Oh, it was damaged. You owe us $4,000. Pay it."
We'd like everybody to be honest and open, but I mean, people are looking to make quick bucks. It is what it is.
That's it. So that's my 2 cents as far as that goes. I tell you, I impressed my dad that day. I really did. He was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking a video of the car." He said, "What? Oh." He's like, "That's really smart."
Yeah, because on these apps, like I use Turo, which is another. That's what I usually use when I go somewhere. And Turo, it's by like, I think anybody can put their car up available for rental.
Sure,
but on there they make you take pictures. But I think I never thought of taking a video. That makes a lot more sense as long as you do it in HD.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to make sure you see everything.
I think I still have the video on my phone too, from when I walked around the car.
That's cool.
And I because you could put a date and time stamp on the phone as well. So, and I don't think I put the stamp on it. I just said, "Hey, it's such and such a date. We're in this airport, picking up this particular car, blah blah blah," and just walking around the vehicle to verify everything's good. And then when I went to go drop it off, I did the same thing.
Even if you didn't put the timestamp on it, probably still has it like when you recorded anyway. It's like
exactly
the metadata on it's probably over there.
It's got a file on there, but that file can be manipulated.
That's true. It can be.
So timestamp always helps.
Yeah, timestamp does help. Yeah, if you say it in the, but I mean, and then we get into the whole topic of like, trying to verify if something is real, which is, it's tough in the day of AI. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we work with on this podcast is AI. The music that we use is AI. The logo is AI.
Yep.
I mean,
my voice is AI.
That's right. Mitch doesn't exist. Just so you know, I actually
No, that's
programmed
it.
it. Not true. Not true. He's a real person. Real
Yes, I
person.
am.
This is not AI content. Otherwise, I think if
AI.
it is AI, we have to be very explicit about it, and then they might actually take us off if we don't admit that we're AI.
Besides, AI would not be this stupid.
You could program it to be. You could program it to be. I don't know.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
it.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, so we'll call that for part 2 of airports and airplanes. And in the next segment, we will be doing our, geez, would you rather? Sorry, I got tongue tied. Anyway, would you rather? There's a mom and pop bookstore in Williamsburg that has a fantastic selection of books in general, but the one that caught my eye is a coffee table book titled Would You Rather? The Outrageous Book of Bizarre Choices, written in 2001 by Workman Publishing. I'm going to flip through the pages and we will find out which choices we would indeed rather. Would you rather swallow a live goldfish without water or swallow a teaspoonful of cold fish eyes?
I would do the goldfish, and I've
Me
actually done that.
too. Have you done that?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wow. Why?
Yep, I swallowed as a dare. We played
Okay.
Truth or Dare,
Was it
and
college?
someone dared me to swallow a live goldfish, and it just so happened that they had a goldfish. They had like a tank of goldfish, and so I was like, "Yeah,
You
I'll do it."
swallowed
So I
someone's
swallowed
pet
a lot.
goldfish?
Dude, there was like 12 in the goddamn tank, dude.
Oh, man.
I picked the smallest one. I picked the
Okay.
smallest damn goldfish. No water, just went ooh, and swallowed it.
Hmm.
The weirdest freaking feeling ever, dude. Weirdest
You
freaking
feel
feeling ever.
like swim its way down?
No, it honestly it felt like something strange was just like flipping around inside. It was so weird. It was just so freaking weird.
Let it be known that the producers of Olympia and Lockies do not approve of this kind of act. We are on the side of people for the ethical treatment of animals. Not everything they do is correct, but we do want ethical treatment of animals. That is ending the little editorial note. All right, back to the show as progressed. So, yes, I I just had to get that out there. Like, well, I mean, eating a live goldfish. I mean, it has
Look,
feelings.
I'm not condoning it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying. But I was 14, I think 14 at the time or whatever it
Okay.
was. So it is
Okay.
what it is. You know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you with the goldfish stuff. Even though I just said all that stuff, I wouldn't actually.
See,
It's a hypothetical. I don't think I would actually do it, but if I was forced to, yes, a goldfish. Yes, not the cold fish eyes. That sounds insane.
right.
Would you rather get stood up for your high school prom or take the date you dreamt of to the prom and have her leave with someone else?
Ooh, get stood up. You get stood up.
Yeah, you get stood up for your prom. No one shows up.
You get stood up for your prom for you. Nobody shows up for you.
Yeah.
Or
you take your dream date.
your dream date,
Yeah.
and then they leave with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, first off, did you go to your prom?
I went to my junior. I never went to my senior.
I went to my senior prom.
Yeah, I never went to my senior prom. I went to my junior.
Okay.
Long story short, made a promise for someone, and she never kept that promise. So I was just like, screw it, I'm not going to do it. So,
yeah, okay.
And that's fine. But she did go to my junior prom. She went to her junior prom with me, and we had a great time. It was awesome. Absolutely loved it. Senior prom, no, didn't go. Bad year. Bad year. It was a lot. It was a lot of stuff. Anyways,
okay. You getting stood up, or you're taking your dream date and they're living with somebody else?
I would probably take my dream date and get stood up there because there is probably a chance that someone sympathizes, another girl sympathizes for me, and then I find someone else.
Okay. So you would go with your dream date, and
I would go with my dream date
just to
show off. Just to show off, yeah, I got my dream date.
Yeah,
if they went off to somebody else, okay, it sucks, and I look like an ass, or I look like the fool. Okay, fine. Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
True.
I'm gonna put myself out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I would. I mean, I kind of want to go with the get stood up for prom, just all together. Because at least you'll be there, and you'll probably have friends you can hang out with straight off the bat. And then rather than having, I don't know why I would do that. I don't know. I feel like having someone go with you and then leave while you're there.
Right.
It's a double down of of
Oh,
embarrassment.
dude, sometimes you got to look.
Yeah.
And believe me, I would, this is all me looking from the past, from hindsight 2020,
Mm-hmm.
looking back, still a bit fuzzy
Mm-hmm.
type thing. But yeah, I'm just gonna put myself out there because I started to put myself out there when I started to get like 14, 15 years old. And I found that if you just kind of put yourself out there, you can make things can happen. You can make things happen for yourself. And it's just those situations like that I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a little more proactive in some stuff. That's why when I was a kid or whatever it was, and we were all joking around out in public somewhere, I would just kind of say something really loud, like, "Hey, you can't do that here," or whatever it was, just to create a scene where people look at you, and it creates like a little bit of an embarrassment for other people, and it creates then like a slight awkwardness for them. And I used to do silly stuff like that. Hey, put that thing away.
Yeah.
You don't know where that thing's been.
Right. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Yeah, that's right. So help me. So help me. And cut.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
So yeah, that's all right. That's all right, man. We love Monsters Inc.
Yes,
So, so yeah, I found that if I put myself out there, some good things can come from it because it's just like a personality change. I mean, I used to be ultra shy. Like again, my family was the Seven Dwarves, and I was bashful. Yeah,
okay.
But my mom, my stepdad, and my four sisters and I, we were the Seven Dwarves.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So I was bashful. That was me because when I was a kid, when I was younger, I was completely bashful. It wasn't until I got 14 and joined a boys group that I finally started coming out of my shell, and I did more active things, and I did like talks and things like that, and like speeches in front of people, and I put myself out there. Once I started putting myself out there, I realized that I could do certain things. I could just kind of opened up other doors for me at that point. So yeah, I think that I would have to go with taking the girl of my dreams and getting stood up and getting left at the prom. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I think again, like for me, it's getting stood up once is one single thing of rejection. Whereas if you get stood up, you take someone there and then they leave with someone else. That's two signs of rejection. Like they agreed to go with you, but at the same time they're like, no, you're not that interesting, and they found someone else they think is better than you. It's like, oh, well, that's not cool.
Dude, it's high school. Who cares?
Of course, it's high school, and it's all high school drama. No one really cares, but in the moment, you care.
So, of course. I get it. Yeah, you do care. And I would care, and I'd be like all bummed out.
Yeah.
I'd probably be crying or running away like a little kid. Whatever, man. Something is going to come of that.
Yeah.
Something will come of that.
Anybody that's listening, I mean, I doubt it's anybody that's high school. If you are in high school, great. Thanks for listening. But just know that life doesn't end at high school. You keep going. Right. You keep going. You will power through. You will get somewhere that you are looking to go. You will be able to overcome the obstacles. Don't let them get you down.
That's right.
All right, we'll do one more.
Fight the power.
Yeah, do one more. This one's funny. I read this one like, okay.
You said, wait a minute. I read this one. It's like, that's funny. Really? You sound like somebody I know. Like,
yeah.
And
all right, I'll see you guys later.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
And by the way, he's a great guy. He really is.
Yeah, he is a great guy. He knows a lot. It's just that
yes, he does.
That's another thing we'll have a conversation on. This phone etiquette.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, would you rather turn around 3 times before you sit down anywhere, or right, or do a little jig before you go through any doorway?
I would. Oh man. It doesn't have to be the same jig, right? It can be a different jig. I mean,
you could do a different jig.
Yeah, like an Irish jig or just a jig in general. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's so inconvenient either way.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you and I, we get into trucks. We get into these big vans and everything. Right. Imagine us having to spin around 3 times every time we get into the truck. Okay. I mean, oh my God, dude. Every time we got in the truck, and we're getting in the truck how many times a day?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
to sit down.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot.
what, a
I'm
dozen,
taking
2
it so
dozen?
far as like even like you have to sit down like at the toilet. You got to turn around 3 times, or you poop your
Yes.
pants before you like you have to go.
One,
Sometimes you're in
two.
the yeah like oh jeez, like come on, you have to go,
Oh,
man. It's like I mean yes, you could also before you go to a doorway, maybe you really have to go to the bathroom. That's me.
yeah, but
I
guess
had to
what? It's
come
the
home.
same thing. You got to go
Yeah,
through the doorway to get to
I
the
do a little
bathroom
jig
itself. So you
first.
got to do a
Yeah,
little jig.
but I feel like I
I
could hold
mean,
it better because you're doing a little jig anyway. You got to go to the bathroom because you do that little
right, right.
dance. Like I gotta
I got,
go. I got
I got to go with the jig.
yeah.
I got
Me
to go with the
too. Me
jig.
too. I'm not turning around
But
3 times
but
before I have to sit
here's
on the toilet.
but here's the thing. It says doorway, right?
Any doorway. Yeah,
Yeah, any doorway. So a car door is a doorway.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'd be doing either a jig or spinning around every time we get into the damn car. We still have to do a
I
fucking
would do
jig.
the river dance every time.
Oh God. Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna climb
And you
on
can do
top
a
of the car.
5 second river dance, buddy. That's all I'm saying. 5 seconds.
That's right. No, I'm doing it
Go
for
go.
hour and a half, and then I'm getting it.
Good luck. Good luck holding that in to use the bathroom, pal. That's all I can say. Uh huh. Yep.
um, what?
When's the intermission, pal?
Oh
That's all
yeah,
I want to know.
yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna get my
Jeez.
little wooden clogs. I'm good to go. Clog
Yep.
dancing.
Oh God,
Yeah,
you little wooden
wonderful.
clogs.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right.
You're
Well,
insane, but I
hey,
love it.
hey, man, the jig though. We're both in agreement with the jig. That's the way to go.
Yes, jig. Absolutely.
All right. Okay, that's good for this segment. We will see you guys in the next, which will be to this you call news. I couldn't think of
That's
it.
it.
There it
You had to
is.
think of it. There it is.
Sorry, it's been a day, folks. Sorry about that.
Yes, it
All right,
has.
we'll see you soon. And now it's time for this you call news.
All right. That's it for article number 2 and our article number trace. Jay?
Mm-hmm. Or just article number whatever, because I don't know when we're going to put this up. But anyway,
That's fair.
so this article is Villain for Hire Service. Well, let me read that again. Villain for Hire Service lets weak boyfriends look cool by beating up fake tough guy in front of girlfriends.
What?
Yeah. Subtitle 28-year-old Shazali Sulaiman decided to capitalize on his intimidating physical appearance by becoming a villain for hire. And that's from January 28,
Wow.
2025. So, a Malaysian man has begun offering his services as a villain for hire, allowing clients to act like heroes by fighting him off or taking him down in front of others, specifically their partners. Sulaiman decided to capitalize on his intimidating physical appearance by becoming a villain for hire, reported by Dextero. Are you tired of your partner thinking you are weak? For a reasonable fee, I can help you prove them wrong, he wrote, promoting his services on Facebook. Effectively, he pretends to be a criminal or villain for his clients, showing up at a predetermined location in order to wreak havoc by harassing their partner or otherwise behaving unusually. He then allows his clients to step in and take him down, allowing his clients to prove their strength to peers of significant others. In advertising his services, he has posted images of him featuring a disheveled appearance or an unlit cigarette, demonstrating a tough physical appearance that would make a client's victory over him seem more impressive. He noted on his business page that he has a business page for this. That he
The
a
business page.
business
Yep.
page, not just a regular Facebook page, but actual business page.
LinkedIn.
On
LinkedIn.
no Facebook because is where it is.
Oh, it's a Facebook
Basically,
business
you have
page. Got it.
specifically a business page. He often gets told he looks
kind of like we do for Loopy and Lucky.
That's right. Yeah, if you want to reach out to us, feel free to. We're right here on Facebook.
That's
under
right.
Loopy and Lucky. Search for us. Anyway,
that's right.
He often gets told he looks intimidating, like a member of a street gang, which inspired him to start this business venture. When the boyfriend went to the bathroom, I pretended to harass his girlfriend. When he returned, he confronted me like a hero. His services are available both to men and women. He has been hired a number of times by friends and family already. Some people are concerned about his safety and that he could face harassment or assault charges from those involved who didn't know that he was a hired.
How much does he charge?
I haven't looked it up. Should.
How much does
I gotta look that up now. Let's see.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I see nothing wrong with this.
Yeah. I mean, as long as everyone's, as long as it's all consenting, yes.
Well, everyone consenting. Well, clearly you're hoaxing the woman, if you will, the girl, or it could be a guy. Who knows? You never know. But here's the thing, Jay. So I see this as like a form of Hitch. Remember the movie Hitch?
Will Ferrell. Not Will Ferrell. Will Smith.
Will Smith. He creates situations. This guy is simply creating a situation where you can have a girl be enamored over you, if you will, so to speak, for something like this. Now, if they found out, well, yay, that's kind of crappy. But it's kind of a Hitch-esque kind of thing. But maybe it's a little cheesy because you are kind of faking it. But sometimes, if you want someone to notice you, sometimes you'll go to certain lengths to make them realize, hey, this guy's not so bad. Of course, if the situation ever happens again and it's actually for real, well, then guess what? The jig is up, and the woman's going to be like, well, I married a scared ass loser.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not that they are. I'm just saying. Right. It's interesting. It's hilarious, by the way. I'm sorry. I think it's great. You know what? Go for it, pal.
Very creative.
It is very creative.
It's thinking outside the box. I mean, you're getting paid for something that, at the end of it, even if someone finds out that you're not really who you say you are,
right.
Then, you still end up having a good laugh and having a story, As long as, there are no actual punches being thrown, I mean, you think you're okay. I think you'll be all right. So we're proud to him for figuring that out. I mean,
Well, now, Jay, did you ever watch WWE?
Yes. Yeah, back in the day.
Okay, you watch it back in the day. People get hurt.
Of course people get hurt.
So clearly, you're not going to do something over the phone. Yeah. You're going to probably meet up with this guy. You're going to probably do some choreography with him. He's going to be like, hey, this is how I need you to do it from this particular angle, and we need to be standing at this place like here, like this, or you can throw this at me or what have you. And they can come up with their own little routine, if you will, to make it, to make it seem lifelike. Clearly. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Kudos for him. I just wonder how much he charges.
I found that his cost was in Indian rupees, and actually he's taking down. It looks like he's taking down his page because I tried to search for it. I can't find it. I think he probably got way too many requests after people started running with it, and in the news articles, right. He's like, all right, I'm going to take this down. Right. That's too many people, and probably some wackos who are like, I'm really going to take you on because you open yourself up to it.
Right. Sure.
His price when he was on was apparently 1,898 Indian rupees, which in today's cash in U.S. dollars, $22.27. $22. $22 to be able to say, hey, I beat up this dude. Not really, but I beat him up.
$22 to fake beat up a guy. I mean, hey man, if he thinks that's what it is, then more power to him.
And I'll post his. You can find all these articles. I'll start posting them on our Facebook, and also I'll post a picture of him on our Facebook because his image, he looks intimidating. He looks like a guy that I know that used to work in the same company that we work in now. Yeah,
really?
He looks similar. He got the long hair. He's got the same kind of facial hair going on. It's like I could see that guy also doing this.
Actually, he kind of looks like one of the guys that currently works for us right now.
Who? I don't know which one you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to talk that about off the air.
Of course. No, mention it here. Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, that guy.
Yes,
right.
Let's go ahead and expose them.
Oh yeah, yes. Larry. Uh-huh. Yeah, Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
I do see it. Yeah.
Hey, Mo.
Hey, Mo. Okay. So that does it for that article. And Mitch, you have one more article.
I do. This one actually is from October 11th of last year, 2024. In Burlington, Vermont, a woman from China pleaded guilty on Friday to attempting to smuggle 29 eastern box turtles, a protected species, across a Vermont lake into Canada by kayak. Wang Yi Ning, NG, that's the last name, NG, Ng, I guess, 41, was arrested on the morning of June 28th at an Airbnb in Canaan, as she was about to get into an inflatable kayak with a duffel bag on Lake Wallace, according to a Border Patrol agent's affidavit filed in federal court. Wait a second. You're going into an inflatable kayak to go across the border with turtles. Agents have been notified by Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Mounties, that two other people, including a man who was believed to be her husband, had started to paddle an inflatable watercraft from the Canadian side of the lake toward the United States, according to court documents. The agents searched her heavy duffel bag and found 29 live eastern box turtles individually wrapped in socks. The affidavit states the eastern box turtles are known to be sold on the Chinese black market for $1,000 each, the affidavit stated. Yeah, her cell phone was seized.
$29,000.
They're $1,000. Yeah, $29,000 is what she stole. Okay. Her cell phone was seized, and a search by law enforcement found communication showing that she tried to smuggle the turtles into Canada so they could eventually be sold for a profit in Hong Kong, according to a plea agreement. Ng from Hong Kong was living in Canada. She pleaded guilty on Friday to one count of unlawfully attempting to export and send 29 eastern box turtles out of the United States, contrary to the law. VT Digger first reported on the plea deal. She is scheduled to be sentenced in December and faces up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. Well, I certainly hope that your $29,000 is worth your $250,000 fine that you just gave.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's some really expensive turtle soup.
Right? Yeah. Now, all right. So, in case you didn't know, box turtles are highly sought after in China.
Are they? Why?
Yes.
Are they good luck or something?
Well, they use them for pets. They use them for potentially for food. But I think the biggest thing that they are used for is their potential medical properties, their medicinal properties.
Oh, okay.
Some say that there is 3-boxed striped turtle, for example, is often targeted and perceived for its ability to cure cancer and other diseases. But there is no scientific evidence to support any of that claim.
Is that cured by like using it in like as like an ingredient for some sort of recipe, or is
I'm
that just
assuming?
Yeah, that's
For centuries, turtles have been used in Chinese traditional medicine to treat a variety of ailments. The Chinese 3-striped box turtle, for example, is often targeted for its perceived ability to cure cancer and other diseases, although there is no scientific evidence to support these claims. They use it for significant symbolic culture. Turtle are associated with longevity, fertility, and good fortune. They're symbols of strength and prosperity, and they're also known for their pet trading abilities, if you will, due to their unique appearance and personality. And China's rapid economic growth and increasing demand for traditional medicine and pets have put immense pressure on wild turtle populations, including box turtles. And apparently they're very endangered over in China. Okay. And they're very highly sought after in the black market, hence the $1,000 per turtle. Now, I don't know about you, but all I can think of in that is turtle. Am I not turtly enough for the turtle club?
Oh man, that's an old reference too.
Yes, sir. I'm just saying. But what I find funny is that they're using an inflatable canoe.
Yeah,
that's what it says. An inflatable canoe. You know, inflatable kayak. Have you ever seen an inflatable kayak, Jay?
No, I didn't even know they made them.
I have seen an inflatable kayak, and it's the funniest daggone thing I've ever seen, dude. I mean, you've seen inflatables. You know how flimsy some of these inflatables can be. So
sure,
just to think about that and turn it into a kayak form, and you're trying to cross this river, good luck, buddy. I can see him using an inflatable paddle to try and make it across the water. Good luck, buddy, because that sucker's going to pop.
Paddle, that's not, the inflatable paddle I can't get with. But like an inflatable kayak, I mean, if you're in a bind, if you're trying to sell turtles, sure.
Dude, they must have been freaking desperate. And I mean extremely desperate to deal with.
I mean, $29,000 for in exchange for, I mean, I don't know. What she was going to, doesn't say she was going to sell them for $29,000.
Well,
it probably would have been less because she's not selling directly to whoever's buying them.
Dude, all the efforts that she's taking just to get them over there. I mean, how much are you spending to buy the turtle, transport them, and get them, and logistic wise to get them overseas to then turn around and sell them? I mean, if you're only dropping like $1,000, great. You made great money. You know, you're doing great. Your profit margin's awesome. Go for it, pal. Yeah. I mean, even if you spend $5,000, you still got a great return. But I don't know, anything more than that, I'd be like, is this really freaking worth it? Right. Apparently and not there.
And also, is this her first time doing this? Like, I would assume that she tried to do this like multiple times. Because, like, I mean, for her to have them like in a duffel bag that's large enough for these turtles. I mean, I don't know how big they are. I mean, they have a picture of it. It looks kind of small. I guess they're small enough to fit into socks, right? Because they have them individually wrapped in socks. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like this lady has done this for a living.
Honestly, I don't think she has, and this is why. This is why I don't think she has. Inflatable kayak.
Well, yeah, you're right. Inflatable kayak. Oh, this is how I make my money in inflatable kayak. What?
Exactly. I don't. If you had an actual kayak, all right, you've been doing this for a while. You know, you're doing this inflatable kayak. I have a feeling this is like her first time trying to do this.
It could be,
or she got conned into doing it.
Yeah, who convinces someone to go ahead and, like, we don't have the whole story. Like, maybe she was in a bind and they really wanted to make sure that, like, hey, you owe us all this money. You can get out of it if you escort these turtles.
Right, exactly.
That's wow. You choose. You choose to do these things. That's up to you, man. But she's paying the price for it now. 10 years or $250,000. Like
up to up to 10 years. Yeah, I know, right? And maybe they'll serve her some turtle soup in prison.
Yeah, turtle soup. Oh, poor turtles. Turtle.
Turtle.
All right. Well,
that's all the time we've got. It's been a blast as always.
My name is Mitch. No, my name's not Mitch. Whoops. What is going on? My brain just cannot keep up today.
And I'm Jay.
That's right. Scratch that. Reverse it. No, as always, my name is Jay.
And I'm Mitch.
Yes, your name is Mitch. And
we'll
catch
Mitch.
You again on the next episode of Lumpy and Lockies. If you should or would like to contact us, please find us at our Facebook page, Lumpia and Lotkeys. We will be glad to hear from you.